Jeff Cobb is a fight that I've been looking forward to since I decided to get back in the professional wrestling squared circle. He's a guy I've enjoyed watching over the past few years. He's really made a name for himself, not only in the U.S. On the independent team, but throughout the world, really as a top-notch talent. And he's a guy that comes from an amateur wrestling background, a former Olympian. So, you know, he carries a same air of legitimacy that I do. And I think it was a natural matchup, and I'm, you know, glad it's happening for MLW. MLW was a promotion that was around in Florida, and I lived in Florida during the time that I was there. And, you know, I remember watching it on Sun Sports or the Sunshine Network or whatever it was at that point. You know, so MLW was around when I was, you know, kind of getting out of college and getting into wrestling the first go-around. So it's awesome to be on the return show here on One Shot.
Yeah, that's really cool, and that's another thing we've been talking about a lot is the fact that it was a great promotion back when it was operating, and that's really cool to know that you were a fan and you were following it, because when we were talking to MVP, he had said the same thing and shared his story about how he wanted to get booked in MLW but did not get the opportunity. But this return, you know, for a lot of hardcore fans, it's long awaited, and just by the way the card is shaping up, obviously they're not shying away from getting right back into putting some high-performance matches out there with some top-level talent.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned MVP earlier. Obviously, he's taking on Sami Callihan. You got Ricochet and Shane Strickland in the main event. A lot of other matches just recently announced. Oh, I'm getting attacked here. Recently announced MJF taking on Utah, I believe. So there's going to be something for everybody. You know, Jeff Cobb and I are going to go out there and beat the ever-living snot out of each other, and then I'm sure you're going to see some great high-flying action in some of the other matches. So it'll be a nice variety of different styles and, you know, really showcase what wrestling today is all about.
It's it's coming up. It's fast approaching. I feel like as we've been building it up, you know, the anticipation, as they would say, you can cut with a knife. And on October 5th at the Guild nightclub in Orlando, Florida, and you got Jeff Cobb across the ring. How do you prepare for somebody like a Jeff Cobb who is pretty skilled himself? Obviously, everybody's got their own special skill set, but how do you prepare for a guy the level of a Jeff Cobb?
Well, someone like Jeff Cobb, I know I'm not going to be able to work some of the power moves that I usually do just based on his size. So some of the more elaborate throws that I can pull off on smaller guys, I'll probably have to shy away from. So I've been doing a lot of work on my submission game and, you know, a lot of like movement training so that, you know, I'm quick on my feet and I'm able to kind of evade him now. He's a great athlete as well, but I'm going to have the advantage when it comes to technical, maybe not the takedown game, but the technical mat wrestling once we're down there. The submission game will be in my favor. So, you know, you don't want to get too far away from your best options, your best offense in the match. So I've been working a lot on my submission game, and I think you're going to see that when I tap Jeff Cobb out.
Very nice, and I was going to go in a different direction here, but I got to say I'm not going to give him a scouting report. But what does Jeff Cobb have to expect from you? So you're obviously chomping at the bit to get in between those ropes. So what is something that maybe not that he's not going to expect, but what's something that Jeff Cobb could look forward to either an ass beating or a nice couple stretches in the middle of your match?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a guy that works and continuously hones my technique. But one other thing that I think people don't account for is the fact that for about a week before the match, I will not shower, I will not bathe, I will not sprinkle myself with water, so that when the time for that match comes, I'm at my utmost filthiest. And, you know, it just puts me over the edge a little bit when the guy's trying to get away from me. His mind's on, you know, creating space so he's not getting hit with a stank armpit, and it allows me to take advantage. So